Hi, this is Vicki Romaine with Cheerful Greetings, and today we're going to work on our second project for the 12 days of Christmas, or shall we say 12 Thursdays of Christmas, since that's when I upload my videos. I have two pieces of cardstock here. They are 5 1/4 by 4 1/4. They're both the same size, and what I'm going to do is tape them together and cut my dies both at the same time. In other words, I'll be cutting both pieces of paper at the same time. So I may have to adjust my layering in my big shot a little bit. So what I'm going to do is take a piece of tape, and I'm going to tape the cardstock together just a little bit in the corner at the top and at the bottom so they won't move. Next, I'm going to put the two dies down, one inside the other, and I want them even. So in order to keep them even, I'm going to put a little tape on the two dies. You will notice that I put tape on the outside of the larger die onto my cardstock. And on the smaller die, I put the tape on the die and toward the inside. That way, when I have cut my piece of cardstock in the big shot, the tape will not mess up my finished die cut. Now, if the tape did not mess up my centerpiece, that piece in the center of my die cut can be used for another project. So I'll just save it and put it aside for now. Here we are. We have our two pieces of cardstock that is an ornament. It's been cut on ornament, and they match up perfectly because we cut them both at the same time and put tape so the die wouldn't slip. Now I have another die here, and I had already previously cut this one, and so I'm going to show you what it is. It has all these little pieces in it, and you have to pop them out. And I haven't yet thought of anything to use these for, but I'm sure there's something. So if you come across an idea for me, please let me know, because I've got a whole bunch of these little punch outs that must be good for something. Okay, now I have all the little pieces out, and I have put this on top of a laminating pouch, and this is a short laminating pouch because I had used it previously, but I'm going to cut off a piece large enough to fit this die cut. So I'm just going to trim off the extra little piece and the extra side piece. As you can see, this is the top part of a pouch, and we usually put our items in the pouch with a layer on each side of the die cut or whatever we want to laminate. But in this case, I only want one side, so I'm cutting the other side off. Now I've got one piece of laminating material, now putting it on the good side. Remember, both dies have a good side and a rough side. So I'm putting it on the good side, and that's very important in this case. So I'm trying to get my laminating material to go straight across and even with my dies so that it will not hang up in the laminator and cause the laminating material to stick to my roller in the laminator. Okay, my die cut has now been laminated. It's been laminated on one side, and that was the good side. Now I have my palette and a brush. In fact, I have a couple of brushes here, and I'm going to put some acrylic paint in my palette. Okay, I put some yellow in here, and here's some red. Some green. If you notice, I'm not putting very much in each of the containers, just a small amount. Then I'm going to take one of my paint brushes. I'm going to probably start with the blue. Now I am painting on the back side, which means I'm painting on the laminate sticky side or rough side. I'm pretty much taking my time. I'm trying to get as close to the edge of the die as I can without actually going up on the die. I've chosen random spots on the die cut to put my blue color. And I will do this with all the different colors and forward the video so you won't have to watch me color all of the colors in. Okay, most of the spots have been colored in, and some of them will need to have a second coat, especially the yellow. It may be that it need to be shaken more, or the paint was too thin. In any case, a second coat will be put on. Now what I'm doing is taking my ornament and seeing how much of the die cut I need to color, if any more, so that the entire thing will fit inside my ornament. However, there's no need to cover the areas that will not fit inside the ornament. Okay, some of the paint is still a little on the wet side, so I'm going to take my heat gun and lightly dry the paint. I don't want it to keep it on there very long, nor do I want it very close, because I have that liniment on the outside of my die cut. It seems to be pretty much dry now, so we will go to the next step. I'm checking again to make sure my die cut is going to be covered with this stained glass. And it seems to be. I don't have to color in those other little sections. Now, remember we had an laminate pouch to begin with, and I only used 1/2 of it. So now I'm going to use the other half and put it on my die cut, and that way the stained glass will be inside the lamination. I'm making sure my edges are straight, and then I'm going to put it into my laminating machine. Now I take the cardstock ornament that I have cut out, and that match perfectly with each other, and I put it on top of my die cut, making sure that all the space is inside of my ornament are colored, and I put some glue on it. I'm using Aleene's tacky glue here to put on the outside of my die cut. Now glue it down, and then I'm going to take a pair of scissors and cut around the entire edge, and then I put the other side on. So I have my little die cut ornament on both sides of the stained glass. Now I've given it a preliminary cutting, and so now I'll go back with a small pair of scissors and cut up closer to the ornament itself to cut all the extra little pieces off. The very last thing that I need to do now is to distress the edges, and this is not a requirement, but I think it helps to cover up any flaws that you might have on the side, like some of the white showing from the die cut in the middle. So I'm going to be distressing it with broken china. Okay, I have distressed my ornament and have put a small hole at the top so a string or ribbon can be put in it. Okay, here's a second one I made with using a marker, and it's a little lighter, but I like the acrylic one better. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please come back and see me. And don't forget, have a great crafting day. Bye.